Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to strike the last word. Thank you. So many things we've said today. We've been here mostly talking past each other on a lot of different things. Earlier it was suggested that we're missing the message of the previous election. And I think the message of the last election was it's the economy, stupid, as it's been every election. And it was pocketbook issues. It was people saying, help us. We don't want to just have an easier time making ends meet. We want to be able to get ahead and give our kids a better future. The message of the last election was not privatize Social Security, make it harder to have security and dignity in retirement. It wasn't cutting access to health care for 70 million people by slashing Medicaid. It wasn't giving up our personal data to an unelected bureaucrat, billionaire, oligarch, so he can profit off of that data and do God knows what else. So I'm proud to join my Democratic colleagues today to demand that the Trump administration and Elon Musk are providing this body, as is our responsibility, accurate information on what they are doing with the data of Americans they are capturing from the Department of Treasury. Elon Musk and his team are unelected and unvetted. The so-called Department of Government Efficiency is accessing private systems they are doing so laden with their own personal conflicts and ethical concerns. They have no business rummaging around taxpayers' private financial data and information. Unfortunately, we're seeing at every turn, DOGE is trying to access not just Treasury information, but information of all the departments that they have with our personal information, including our individual Social Security numbers, our home address, our bank account information, and so much more. Now, I know from personal experience, 20 years ago, I had my identity stolen. We caught it very quickly, likely within hours, and yet it took me years to take care of all of the implications that had. We all get notifications in the mail that this system or that system has been breached and what actions we should be taking. We should be protecting American citizens' information in this committee, and yet what I'm hearing from my colleagues on the other side is talk about fraud, waste, and abuse. We agree. Everyone on this committee says we should be looking for ways to make government more efficient and more effective, and looking for ways to put in place systems to catch and punish fraud, waste, and abuse. But we're allowing unelected officials to access personal identity that can give them great power over the American people, and used improperly can cause great damage. The systems at the Department of Treasury contain sensitive, extensive details about all of our individuals' lives. Now, Elon Musk wants you to think that he is a patriot, but he is far from it. He is not interested in keeping that private data safe. In fact, we suspect he is more interested in using that private data to enrich himself. Allowing unvetted and inexperienced personnel to access this system is a recipe for disaster, leaving taxpayers' sensitive information vulnerable, either by DOGE or by external actors. What we're asking today, and I am astonished that my colleagues are not joining us in this on the other side of the aisle, what we are asking for today is that the American people understand and know with confidence what DOGE's access of their personal information and how they are using it. It's that simple. Since my Republican colleagues refuse to apply the normal standards of transparency to DOGE, we are forced to do so with this resolution today. And if I can extend to other things that might have been said, that were said earlier, we did scream out loud and vociferously when people accessed information. My colleagues suggested that employees at the IRS have access to our personal tax records. Some have access to some records when they have a necessary reason to do so. They can't rummage through the system. We had a hearing in this committee talking about that. No one has access to everything over there until last month when Elon Musk and his Doge bros, young people who lack experience, are exuding in overconfidence and believe they know more than the elected officials sitting on this body, they have access to it today. We should all be upset. And I am astonished by the silence, the acquiescence, the submissiveness of my Republican colleagues to let the executive branch to do the responsibilities that should be our responsibility assigned to us in the Constitution, in this committee, and I wish we could join together to ask for this information to protect the American people. I yield back.
Oh, can I have